Wondering what life is really like on Canada's wild and crazy West Coast? This podcast is all about the people, the places, and Vancouver Island time. Together, we'll explore this island paradise, a combination of ocean, city, and country living. We'll meet the fabulous locals such as the Fudge Fairy and the Chicken Lady, who have chosen Victoria and Vancouver Island as their home. And we'll learn what makes this place unique and special to those who live here. And now, your host of Vancouver Island Time, Jane Johnston.
Hi everybody, it's Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun and host of Vancouver Island Time. And this week I'm here with Ashley LeBlanc. We're going to be talking about the Sooke area and also her business, which is called
Om Wellness Victoria.
Okay, so let's talk about Sooke. I used to teach out here, which probably nobody knows. I taught high school science for Edward Milne. I quite enjoyed it. It is a bit alternative. Do you find living out here?
Yes, and I love it. That's one of my favorite things about living here.
How do you find it alternative?
I find everyone's very friendly, and the community, especially the community I'm part of, is everyone's open to everything. Right. So it's, I have a homeopathic remedy for that. Or have you tried that crystal? Oh, I have a great crystal person. Go talk to them. Have you been to reflexology? It's amazing. Right. So I'm totally into, that's more my kind of vibe.
Have you joined the Sooke Business Bureau or Chamber of Commerce?
I have not, although I am part of Sooke Women in Business. So they're connected through there. I kind of haven't got there yet. So I'm looking forward to that though.
So you moved out here a year ago from downtown Victoria. Do you find, first of all, you talked about the community being open and kind of alternative. What about in terms of the commute? One of the things that people say about living in Sooke is it's one road in, one road out.
It's part of my favorite part because it keeps people out. I actually only go into Victoria one day a week. So on Wednesdays, I go in and I do my music lesson and I hike and have clients. And it's a very long day, but it's one day. So I don't do that commute and that drive because it's too much for me.
I also found, because I live in Metchosin, which is the adjacent municipality. So you have to kind of be a little more organized too, right? Like in terms of your shopping and stuff.
Oh, yeah. So on that note, my partner goes into Sooke once a week and he does the grocery shopping. So because it's very expensive out here, right? And we can get, unfortunately, we go to Walmart, right? And Root Cellar, which is Mackenzie and Blankensop, and he goes there first and gets everything he needs to on sale. And then he goes to Walmart and then brings it all home and I cook it for him.
So speaking of which, where do you do grocery shopping out here? Because there isn't a Thrifties in Sooke.
No, there is a Western Foods and there is, I think it's called the Village or Village Market. Yeah. So if I need anything, I'll go there, or even like Shoppers Drug Mart. They have Clamato and, stuff that you can get for maybe a little cheaper, but I don't do grocery shopping out here really because it's too expensive.
In Sooke compared to just like Langford and downtown.
Yep.
Wow, I never really realized that. Wow. So give me an example.
So produce, it'll be say 79 cents at Walmart for bananas and they're like $1.29 here. Right. So it doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're looking at like a jar of peanut butter, right? A small jar out here is $5.50 and you can get a big one at Walmart for $4.25 as an example, right? So those little bits add up pretty quickly.
I get it. Yeah, I hear you. What about like natural things? One of the things I love about Sooke is it has an abundance of beaches and you have lots of camping between here and Port Renfrew. And of course you have Botanical Bay at Port Renfrew itself. So what do you do outdoors around here?
So I live a minute from the beach, just down here. So we have a kayak that we use. I actually just was at the beach 10 minutes ago and we walk that often. Sooke potholes is a big, during the summer, we'll do a hike up to the top and then hop in the river and cool down and wash off, which is one of my favorite things to do. I'm about 20 minutes from French Beach, which is also one of my favorite beaches. So for me to hop out there for an hour is not really a big deal. It's a beautiful drive as well.
And that's a camping ground?
Yes, camping ground as well. Of course, there's Jordan River, and there's a few restaurants kind of on the way there. And then, of course, you get into Sombrio and then Port Renfrew eventually, like you said. So.
And they also have the Juan de Fuca Trail. Have you done that?
I have not. I'm not big into like hiking to that extreme almost. I'm like, okay, I did my hour, I'm good. And then I'm done. I don't want to carry a backpack. I don't want to do any of that stuff. So
what about East Sooke Park?
I haven't been over there yet. My partner used to mountain bike over there a lot, and he's like, it's changed a lot, but I haven't had a chance to explore there. So it's on the list.
It's actually, it's nice if you're training for the Juan de Fuca Trail. It's kind of an introductory type trail. And then there is some up and downs. You have to be mobile. Good place with a dog because they'll follow you around. And then you have your choice of 5 and 10 kilometer trails around there and in a big circle. I made the mistake of going with a group once with varying ability that I was leading. So we ended up having to kind of cut through halfway. But what's cool about that area is there are petroglyphs there.
Oh, okay.
Just a few along the rocks, enough to make you wonder, about the people who have been here before us and the First Nations groups and stuff like that.
I at the beach here, I often contemplate what it would be like, back in the day, as it were, when they fished out of the sea, and like the salmon run is happening right now. So they'd be out with their nets and harpooning and, making sure they spawned. And then when they come back, and it's just, I'm like, what did they wear? Like what was their clothes? Cause it rains so much here, right? I'm like, they'd have to wear like seal skin jackets maybe, or right. So it's just interesting to wonder what the land looked like. And
ponchos, I think.
Yeah. Which are one of my favorite articles of clothing.
So one of the things I love about this area too is the restaurant. So surprisingly, and partially it's because it's a very popular place to visit for people who are vacationing. Do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. There's actually an Airbnb a few doors down, so we see people on the beach, and it's like, I don't know who you are. You must be with the Airbnb. So, and it's a getaway, but it's still close, right? So you don't have to travel for hours to get here, but you're still not really close to Victoria, right? So it's kind of the home away from home, hop out of town for a little bit. And Whiff and Spit is also a really nice walk down by the Harbor House there. So.
There's also Point No Point, which is a place you can go for dinner, you can brunch, and you can stay over. And then Sooke Harbor House.
Mm-hmm. Prestige also, they have a great Sunday buffet, brunch buffet.
Is that the big hotel?
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic. Amazing. Like I go at least a few times a year. Make a reservation though, because you need a reservation. But it's like everything you could want and more for very affordable. Very, very affordable.
And what do people wear there when they go for brunch? I imagine it's not the Empress.
No, not so much. I would say anywhere from like you got your Lulus and your kind of dressy sweatpants right up to we're having a birthday celebration and kind of dressed up a little bit more. But a lot of it too is just people staying, right? So their rooms are just up there and they've hopped down for breakfast.
It's quite a big hotel. It's right on the water. It has gorgeous views. One of the things, so when I was teaching at the local high school just around the corner here, we did a fundraiser for the school. We were trying to decide what to buy in terms of articles of clothing. And we were heading into the summer season, and I ordered sweatshirts. Which people are like, why would you order sweatshirts? But it is quite cool here. Do you find in summer?
Yeah, it's actually, I prefer that. So I go into Victoria and just like sweat through my clothes all day. And then I come here and it's nice and cool. And where I specifically live, we're actually out on a spit. So the wind comes right over. So it's often windy to some degree here. And that makes it a lot cooler, right? So I enjoy that. It's a bit cooler. Although in the winter as well, when you're, Victoria's 5 degrees, it's like 1 out here, which makes it a lot cooler.
Yeah, we're talking Celsius here, by the way.
Yes. Oh, Celsius. Yes, of course. Of course.
32, 35 or whatever to 40. So what about, have you heard of the term Faugus?
I have not.
So in Sooke, they call August Fogus because the way the fog comes in, we're on the very southern tip of Vancouver Island. We have the mountains all around us. So when I like to liken it to a fist, and then the U.S. is here, the fog comes down and usually sits on the far side of the mountains. But sometimes in August, the wind changes and it actually heads over. And so you get a lot of fog here compared to the rest of Victoria.
Yeah, I would say there definitely is. I'd say especially we've had such nice weather here, unusually for October. Every morning when we've gotten up for the last probably 3 weeks, the basin is fogged in until about noon, actually. So I was just out there watching the fog dissipate.
Isn't it cool, though?
Oh, it's super cool. It's super, like, everything blows my mind.
Are you seeing much wildlife out here?
Yes. Yeah, we see, so we have bears. I don't see them, though. I don't want to see them. They can mind their own business. Not a whole lot of deer. I don't see deer down here. We see tons of different types of birds. So like blue herons, eagles, hawks, owls, bats, seagulls. There's seals in the harbor right now because of the fish coming in, the salmon run. But, you know, for me to see a blue heron fly by my living room is not unusual. So it's...
They like the shallow water.
Yes, and with the tide going out, that, you know, it's so gradual that there's shallow water for, you know, 8 hours a day, 10, 12 hours a day, right? So at any time you can go down there. I think I've seen 8 is the most I've seen at once. And just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Have you seen whales?
I haven't seen whales. They have been here, but I haven't seen them because I don't get up between 5 and 7 in the morning.
Yeah, I hear they come into the basin to feed.
Yep, especially with the salmon, right? So I've heard they kind of hang out outside of Whiff and Spit, kind of on that side. And then as the tide comes in, they'll come in and check it out and see what they can do. And then they take off, because if the tide goes out and they're still here, they may not be able to get out. So they have to follow the tide.
Right. So these are orcas, yes. The logo. Yes. And there are 2 types. There's a resident and the transient. So the residents are the ones who feed on the salmon. The transient tend to feed on larger mammals like seals.
Yep. I could see that.
Restaurants that you love.
Good question. So my favorite is the Stickleback. And then Route 14 is also...
What does the Stickleback sell?
The Stickleback is like upscale pub food. So they have burgers and pasta, and I've been there. Great drinks. Between you and me, great drinks. They do... Yeah, I've never had a bad meal. Everything's super fresh. They always have a really good special as well. And they change their menu for the seasons. So it's not always the same thing. So it's great if you're like, I love that portobello burger I had and I'm going to have that again. You go back and it's not there. It's like...
It's salmon now.
Yeah, totally, right? Or it's, you know, there's no asparagus because asparagus isn't in season or whatever, which I really appreciate.
Where is that?
It's on the road coming into Sooke. Just kind of, you come down the hill and there's a crosswalk, and it's just past the crosswalk on the left-hand side. So it's much before Sooke, and it's also a kayak, and I believe they rent paddle boards maybe, and they do tours out there and from there. So
yeah, I think that's changed names a few times.
I think so.
Okay, and then Route 14?
Route 14 is right in Sooke. Again, it's more of a bistro, sort of, so a little bit upscale food. I've never had a bad meal there. Great drinks. Can't go wrong with that, right? Yeah, just really great, run really well, and great service and everything.
And any others?
There's Stick in the Mud for coffee shop. Great coffee, great treats. You know, their treats are very holistic. So they have, you know, it's not cinnamon buns and stuff, and that's great. If that's what you like, I got a place for you. Just hang on. Yeah, it's more like, you know, you can get like a granola, you know, veggie roll or something, right? Because you don't want to be eating crap all the time, right? If you have a lot of meetings.
If you're going to go out, though.
Yeah, maybe that's just me. You know, in the summer they have like fruit popsicles that are like real fruit popsicles. So nice and refreshing and light, and it's not loaded with sugar, and, you know, so you can feed it to your kid without having them bounce off the walls maybe, right? And then there's Little Vienna Bakery, which does coffee, and they have a great lemon poppy seed bread. Oh my God.
I love their sandwiches and soup.
I haven't had their sandwiches and soup, but and you can buy bread there, and loaves of bread, and gluten-free and sourdough and the whole thing. So I've only been there once or twice, but I'm like, they have bread? Wow, that's great. So
they actually, I brought some clients there who were from Eastern Europe, and they really liked it.
Yes, very European. Yeah, for sure.
Very authentic. Okay.
Yes.
Have you been to Shirley?
Yes, I have. I love Shirley Delicious. It's, again, they make everything in-house, and they have a variety of stuff. And if you go, they make their own caramel, and you can get a caramel latte. Amazing. Do it. Totally worth it.
Okay, top thing to do for a tourist in Sooke.
Oh, find a beach. Go to the beach. Whiff and spit.
Ella Beach.
Yep. Downtown is pretty cute. There's some great stores, boutiques, and there's a brewery as well. I haven't been there, but you can go and taste what Sooke and the beer has to offer, I suppose. Sooke Potholes also is up there. They have the skeleton of a hotel they were building. So they were planning it to be kind of like a Whistler kind of thing. And they ran out of money, and then they couldn't get funding because the environmentalists, right? The increase in traffic coming out here, and then up there in a very sacred space. So Sooke, in my opinion, is in like almost like a little magic pocket. It's very magical out here. And Victoria is too. And Sooke is just, to me, another level of that. And, you know, I think we didn't really want to share it with anybody if we didn't have to.
Yeah, it is a special place. Okay, well, if you want more information about the Sooke area, contact me. I'm Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun. But stay tuned, because we're going to be coming back and talking to Ashley about her business, Wellness Victoria, and how she practices her best practice treatments. So stay tuned. If you're interested in being a guest, please check our website at vancouverislandtime.com. At the very bottom, click on Be a Guest. And don't forget to tune in to vancouverislandtime.com, as well as on our Facebook group, Vancouver Island Time. And then also any podcast that you're interested in, please follow us. Thanks, and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Vancouver Island Time is brought to you by the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun Victoria, where we bring local expertise and global presence to your property.
Hi, everybody. It's Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun and host of Vancouver Island Time. We're back with Ashley LeBlanc, and we're talking about your business, Wellness Victoria. So tell me, first of all, what's the name mean?
So Wellness Victoria. Om is the universal sound of the universe. So essentially, when we're integrated and aligned with Source, God, universe, that's the sound that we make. So one of my intentions when I treat you is to have you resonating at that sound.
And how did you get involved with this?
That's a great question. So I found Best. I happened to coincidentally stumble upon Best. I was in the military. I was a Marine electrician for 7 years in the military, and I ended up very sick and couldn't get out of bed most days, and was looking for the way to heal my body without drugs, because I knew my body could heal itself. There's just some stuff that wasn't quite right, and misalignments and interference. So I was doing chiropractics and naturopath, yoga, watching my diet, living a very healthy lifestyle, and yet there was a piece missing. So when I threw it out to the universe, the universe came back in spades, and I ended up at a seminar with the Mortar Health System, and Dr. Ted, who runs Mortar Health Systems, he was speaking, and it was like he had reached into my soul and shook it. And I just started like Like it
Resonating.
Oh, on every, like I was bawling like ugly crying, bawling my eyes out. Like this is the missing piece. This is what I've been looking for years. And my journey towards health was, escalated past that. And now I could help other people who had been in my position.
When did that happen?
I've been studying Best. That was 6.5 years ago. And I've been a practitioner for 5.5 now.
So we used to, when we'd go to meetings and you'd give somebody a treatment, they would leave the meeting because why would they do that?
So what happens? Yeah, I still haven't forgiven me. So what happens when I give somebody a treatment is they switch out of this fight or flight mode that they're in. So they're, thinking about 15 things at a time. They can't focus. They're tired. They're stressed. They're pumping adrenaline through their bodies. And what I do is I shift their nervous system so that they're not. So now they can heal. And oftentimes what happens is people realize how tired they are and they literally can't keep their eyes open. So they have to go home and go to bed.
And do they wake up feeling more refreshed?
Absolutely. And able to be focused and productive, and they get lots of work done. And, or maybe they just sleep through the night. Maybe they don't sleep through the night and this night they do, or they sleep for, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hours. Right.
So how do you do it?
Great question. So with Best, we work with your subconscious. So we're working with the part of your body that we don't know about. The subconscious is running the show. So I speak to your subconscious through muscle testing. So I work with your legs, your arms, and points on your body. I follow a flow chart that has already been developed, and we link the emotion with that stress response, and then we update your body. So your body's like, well, this happened, when I was 5 years old and the same emotion triggered, but it's not appropriate right now. Right? It's decades later. You're a completely different person. You've had completely different experiences. And what Best does is we update you. So your body then goes, oh, I'm laying on a massage table in a really safe space. Okay, we don't have to be pumping adrenaline. We don't have to be dilating the pupils. We can oxygenate the brain, right? And then symptoms may disappear, or you gain clarity. So maybe now you can make a decision that you haven't been able to make, or open communication with someone you haven't been able to talk to, or right, do that workout you've wanted to do that you haven't been able to because your ankle hurt for the last 3 weeks.
So how do people usually come to you when they're acute, or is it chronic?
Both. So a common thread of my clients is often, I've tried everything else and I still have this pain. I'm like, great, fantastic, because they're not working with the problem. They're working with the symptom, right? So with Best, we're working with the problem. So often in eWomen, I say, I need more clients and someone who's open to something different, because this is it blows my mind every time I do it. Right. And it's quite different. And, I can talk science or I can talk woo-woo, chakras and whatever. I love them both. Right. So it's just meeting the client where they are. And if they want to change, they'll do something different.
Speaking to them in the way they need to be spoken.
Exactly.
So what do we have behind me here?
This is my shelf of goodies. So just some pamphlets up here. So I do Animal Best as well, because our animals experience stress as much as we do in different ways, but they do. The Mortar March, which is a fantastic tool that can change your life. If you like to go to my website, omwellnessvictoria.com, you can check that out. Choosing Best, some information. And this is the 6 essentials, which is essentially the framework of how we make decisions in our life that bring us to or away from health. Right. So that's,
I'm going to take this because when I talk to my kids, I'm going to read this out to you. So, what you eat, they'll understand this. What you drink, how you exercise, how you rest, what you breathe, and what you think. And so when I talk about success in life, actually, if you just plan around these 6 things, it's amazing how much more successful you'll feel.
Absolutely. And what's really interesting is the first 5 are thought to be about 10% of what makes a difference, and what we think is about 90. So you can eat the best diet in the world and drink the best water and exercise and breathe the cleanest air and, sleep your 8 to 10 hours a night. But if you think that you can't do it or you think you're not good enough, it kind of doesn't mean a whole lot, right?
So working as the managing director with the Women Network for a number of years, I saw a lot of people undergo transformation. Part of it was, including yourself, like how they reformatted what they were thinking in their mind. I'm just wondering if you've seen that in your clients.
Absolutely. Totally. Well, number one, it's shocking what happens when you have a good night's sleep, right? If we don't sleep, we can't be healthy. Bottom line, right? So one of my specialties is helping people sleep because I'm a sleeper and it breaks my heart when people don't sleep. It's just so unnecessary. But that's one of the first things to go, because if you're in that fight or flight and your body's running from a bear, you're not going to want to sleep because you die. The bear would eat you, right? So the guy that stopped to have a nap when the bear was chasing him, he died. Didn't reproduce, right? Like that's just the fundamental evolutionary side of it, right? So it's when clients are coming back and they're making different choices, right? Of like, I ate an apple instead of had a bag of chips, right? Or I was really tired, so I went to bed and slept through the whole night, right? And ultimately, it's up to the client, right? I'm just a tool as much as any of the 6 essentials are, right?
I find as I get older, I don't necessarily need to stay up all night like I used to.
Ugh. Like I stay up like an hour past my bedtime, and the next day I'm like hungover. I'm like, is it really at this point now? Like, what is going on, right?
How does what you do for humans differ than what you do for animals?
So that's a great question. The fundamentals are the same. So the theory is the same. The technique is just a little different because I can't get an animal to think of an emotion and move their eyes to a certain position. So it's just, we just go down their spine and then touch points and work with their nervous system that way.
I'm thinking maybe my dog intuitively knows because she'll start with her head and make me scratch it. And then I have to go down her back till I get to her tail. And then she'll turn around and I have to go do it again.
Yep. That sounds about right. Dogs are fantastic communicators if you actually know how to listen.
Yeah. We have a cute dog. Yeah. I sometimes think that maybe the dog you attract is similar to your own personality.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Yeah, our dog is calm and relaxed. The other day, somebody left some toast with Nutella, which to me is a big dog treat. Not a good one, but they left it like within 2 inches of the counter, and the dog didn't eat it.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, but my brother's dog would have eaten it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm like, I can think of about 5 other dogs that I know that like you wouldn't even have seen it there. It just would have gone right off the counter.
Yeah. Oh, why is there a broken plate here? So, where are you practicing your treatment?
So I practice it actually in a few places. I have an office in Sooke, where we are right now. I have an office space in Victoria that I'm available Wednesday afternoons. I also offer distance treatment, so I can treat you over Skype, phone, FaceTime, whatever that is. And I offer mobile, so I can come to you.
And which do you find clients prefer?
Generally hands-on, if they can. I know a lot of people really enjoy mobile, me coming to them, and sometimes the house space isn't conducive to healing for whatever reason. So other than that, it's just, if they live downtown Victoria, they're more than likely not going to come out to Sooke, right? So we just plan accordingly.
And also maybe they have emotional baggage at home.
Yep. Just put the bag down. Just put the bag down. And part of what I do as a practitioner in my trade is I create a space, right? So even if you want me to come to your home and it's maybe less than ideal, I create a bubble around us so that what needs to happen can happen regardless of what's going on out there.
Okay. So the treatments you do, they're called BEST. What does that mean?
BEST is Bio Energetic Synchronization Technique.
Okay, and so then you're using their chakras or energy points or whatever to align them.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm tapping into the power that created us, right? So when the sperm met the egg, we didn't think, okay, split into 2 cells. Oh, now 4, now 6. No, I wasn't there for that. I don't know about you, but I wasn't. So what I'm doing is I'm tapping into that energy and realigning you using the magnetism of my fingers, right? So I'm essentially acting as like jumper cables for your nervous system, right? So once we tune you in and put you full into the stress response, we can then kind of like, poof. Oh, there we go. Okay, now we're good. And your body's now in present time.
Do you use essential oils?
I do not.
Why is that?
Because it's not my wheelhouse. I'm a huge fan of focus. And so I focused all my energy in studying best and being the best practitioner that I can be. And I haven't really branched off into essential oils. And I have a diffuser I'll use sometimes, but I don't. And because it's it's totally closed on and you're just laying on the table. And it's just not something that's called to me. It may change. I don't know.
Just wondering, because I know it's popular with some people. I find them a bit overwhelming sometimes.
And that's the other thing, is that everybody's a little bit different with that. And I'm a little bit sensitive to smells. And if I have back to back clients, I may not be able to eat or drink as much, so that I'm under a little bit of stress anyway. And then that might just exacerbate it. And, it's good that I can just open the window too if I need to.
Is how you feel important to your best treatment?
Absolutely. There was a practitioner who he's been doing best. He's a chiropractor for 30 years. And when he first went to a best seminar and learned it, he was like, great, I'm going to go into my practice. And he was treating people. And the next year he's like, I should go for an update. Turns out he was having miracles. Like people, would come in and have like leg pain that they had for months that they couldn't, one treatment gone. And he's like, wow, something to this, right? Goes back to the training the second time. He was doing everything wrong contact points, wrong fingers, wrong emotion, like everything. He's like, every single thing I was doing wrong. But because he was so in tune and he was so aligned, everything was working.
Working, yeah. Okay, so we only have a few moments left. So how do people get in touch with you?
Great question. So you can call me 250-661-6571, or you can text me too. That's totally fine. On Facebook, you can message me. I'm just Ashley LeBlanc. Friend me. I love friends. It's good. You can go to my website for more information, omwellnessvictoria.com, or you can email me at omwellnessvictoria@gmail.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And so if you want to be a guest, please go to our website, vancouverislandtime.com. At the very bottom, click on Be a Guest. We'd love to have you. Was it worth it?
Yes, absolutely.
Were you nervous?
A little bit, but Jane's really awesome.
I'll make you feel welcome and at home. So anyway, we'd love to have you. So come on out, give us a call, 250-744-0775, and take care. We'll see you next week with Ashley. Bye.
Welcome to the neighborhood. We hope you have had some insight into West Coast living. If you know of someone or someplace that should be highlighted in our podcast, we'd love to hear from you. Please go to VancouverIslandTime.com and click on our Connect button. See you next week on Vancouver Island Time with Jane Johnston.